Welcome to Linked. I'm your host, Chris Cashin, and today, Hoake covers robotics.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to Hoake's Corner. I'm Hoake, and this is my corner. Now, before we get into the main subject of today's episode, I just wanted to bring up something that y'all should all be worried about. See, I saw a documentary the other day about chimpanzees and how some of them have learned to use spears to hunt. And while I'm sure y'all all realize this should be chillin', we've always known that they were gonna take an evolutionary jump, and we've been keeping our eye on them. I started thinking about, what about other critters? Critters we hadn't been paying attention to that might be making a weaponized evolutionary jump. So I did some research, and I've compiled a list of what I believe are the critters and their weaponized evolutions that we really need to be on the lookout for. Number 1, rats with tiny chainsaws. Number 2, skunks with baseball bats. Number 3, skinkses with razor blades. Number 4, manatees with underwater harpoon guns. Number 5, dogs with radar dishes on their backs attached to Gatling guns. And number 6, worst of all, armadillos with automatic rifle and anti-aircraft artillery. Now, I'm not trying to sound an alarm. I'm just trying to warn y'all of danger. So y'all just make sure to pay attention. Because really, when it all goes down, the only animals we're gonna have on our side are ferrets and prairie dogs, and they're pretty stupid, so we need to be prepared. Now, today's episode is another episode all about science. And as y'all know, I am a man of science and also an inventor. It's kind of like combining two forces together, like maybe Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson. Come to think of it, they should have really put them in a movie together. I'm just kidding. I know they already did Rush Hour. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about today is the next wave in science, which I believe will be personal home robots. Now, a lot of scientists out there have some really good ideas about personal home robots, but I really don't think they've thought of the common man in this equation, and that's why I have invented this. This is what I call a Hoake robot, or a Hobot. Now, what you got here is just a prototype, but when it's gonna be in full development, he'll be able to do all sorts of things, like bring you sandwiches, yell at people that come onto your yard, and maybe turn on the remote for you. He's got these little rubbery arms here. He can maybe smack a couple of people upside the head for you. Now, this one isn't actually a working prototype. This is literally just a bottle that I've adorned with robotics to make him look more like us. But once I get into mass producing, they'll all have some nanotechnology in there, put in between the cracks and crevices in the glass, and he'll be able to do all the things I'm talking about. And let me tell you something, everybody's gonna want one of these. Just imagine you calling your buddies over to have them take a crack at your Hobot. Just imagine you and your friends sitting around the living room, everybody taking turns with that Hobot. Just think about how exciting it will be for your friends to all have a chance at that Hobot. And after it's all over, you can crack that hoe open and drink its inner juices. See, it'll also be a fully operating beer bottle. It's kind of like it'll be as smart as Albert Einstein and as full of beer as Babe Ruth. And you'll be able to get these when they are being in mass production by calling a special number. Now, I've created a software that allows you to order these things simply by the sound of your voice. It's called the Personal Initiative Monetizing Priority System, or Pimped for short. So you just call up Pimp and get yourself a Hobot, and you and your buddies will be having the time of your lives. I'll drink to that. Now, before we go today, I just wanted to have yet another edition of Hoake Makes Things Better. And today's Hoake Make Things Better is going to be about baseball. See, I'm a sports enthusiast, and two things that I believe baseball is lacking: sports and enthusiasm. See, it's kind of a boring game. Most of the time, you just sit there watching them fellas scratching themselves for 9 hours, and if I wanted to see that, I would go to my urologist's second job at an STD clinic. What you really want to do is you want to make the game more exciting. See, most audiences today, they love sports with an element of danger and risk. So what you do is, you make every inning 5 minutes. And if those baseball players can't get 3 outs in 5 minutes, a gate opens in the back of the field and out comes a bear. Now, they'll be running around either trying to get them 3 outs real quick or just trying to stay alive and not get mauled. That'll even make what happens in the dugout exciting because they won't just be sitting around looking bored, they'll be trying to avoid getting their throats cut open by an angry bear. And there is a safety protocol, I'm not stupid. Every mascot for every team will have to represent a different kind of meat, so that if things get a little out of control, they can run onto the field, and usually the worst that happens is by the end of a game, a couple of players have lost limbs and, well, you've probably lost a mascot, but I believe that the pro outweighs the con in this situation. So that's the way to make baseball more exciting in my book. Well, that's about all the time we got for today. So until next time, you just keep tight and remember, like my daddy always told me, boy, get on out of her.
Wow, I want me a Hobot. What if it takes pre-orders? Well, thanks so much, Hoake. Be sure to subscribe to us, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also follow me at Chris Cashin, and we'll see you next week. Hey, you think it comes with those internal juices?
Oh, yeah.
And today the subject is going to be baseball. See, I'm a sports enthusiast, and there are two things lacking in Spaceball. Spaceball.